Hi, this is Pete from MyJewelryBench.com. I received a good question from a YouTube subscriber. His name is Richard, and he wanted to know how to decase a watch movement from a hunter case pocket watch. So I'm going to show you how to do that today with two different styles. Okay, so most pocket watch in the American pocket watches in the hunter case line will have two different styles of cases. One is pretty common, and we can see that it's just a standard case, standard pull-out stem, so you could pull the stem out. This one happens to be a lever set, I believe. No, it is a stem set, stem wind. So if you get a stem set, stem wind, you can wind it with the crown. You can pull the crown out and then set the time and then push that back in. Sometimes you'll have a lever set, and that would be something like this particular watch where we can wind it with the crown, and then we have a little lever here. We pull that out, and then that allows us to set the time. We push that lever back in, and we're back to winding. So this is our clutch mechanism here. And on this particular watch, it's the pull in, push in, pull out type of crown. So I'm going to show you the easier one first. To decase a hunter case pocket watch is very, very simple. You just need the right tools to do it. Typically, I use my screwdriver set. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. So what you need to do first is to remove the bezel with the glass crystal. And you can accidentally damage the crystal if you pry too hard, so be very careful. First thing we do is we look around the bezel to see if there's any marks where we can open it up. And on this particular watch here, there is a bezel indent, and if we take our screwdriver and just gently push it in there and then twist ever so slightly, you can see that we're prying that bezel up and off the watch case. So you're going to do that very gently. Again, you're going to go around like that until it pops off. If you bend the bezel, you can run the risk of cracking the glass crystal. Once that's done, you'll notice the movement is in place. We're going to close that front cover. And now I'm going to open the back cover. So here we have our lip on the pocket watch, and you can see the lip right there. And we will lift that up. And then there's a dust cover on almost all hunting case pocket watches. And again, you'll need to pry that open because it does seal very tightly. Once that's open, you can see we've exposed the watch movement. And the next thing would be to loosen one or two dial or case screws. That's case screw 1, case screw 2. They're either full or half. So I'm going to zoom in here so we can see. In this case, we have a full round, and over on this side we have a half round. So in that case, what I would do is loosen the full round screw. Let me get that in focus. So with that loosened, I can just undo the screw ever so slightly. Just like so. You could remove it all the way if you wanted. And with the half screw over on this side, I'll turn that until it detaches from the case, just like so. And you'll notice the watch movement will wiggle out of place. The next thing is to pull the stem out to the setting position. And then we're going to flip that open. Actually, I'm going to push the stem in because we're going to have to close the back again. Now I can open up the front. And if I'm lucky, the movement will come out. If not, then I can pull out the crown, and that loosens up the movement completely. And I'll just wiggle it off the watch case, and there we go. We've decased the movement from the hunter case. Now with the hunter case movement, just like any others, you can see the post here. And the stem actually goes into the watch movement at the 3 o'clock position. So on hunter cases, typically you'll see that it should be always at the 3 o'clock position. If it's not, then it is probably a open face movement that's been put into a hunter case. So keep that in mind. And that's pretty much how you remove the watch from the case. Now, putting it back in is very similar. We're going to follow the opposite directions. So first thing we do is we line up the 3 o'clock position to where the stem comes through the case. I'm going to focus in on that. Let's see if I can get a good view of that. It should go right into the 3 o'clock position. It's hard to work looking through a camera. You're going to be very careful doing this. You're just going to turn the crown until you get that seated in position. It should just kind of fall into itself. That screw may be in the way. I'm just going to tighten that up. Get that out of the way. I'm not sure, I've never seen something like that before. Okay, so now you can see I get the movement back in position. I can squeeze it back into the case, and then while holding it, open up the back covers. And I'm going to hold this like so. Now typically I won't have the hands on because I will work on the watch without the hands on until I'm done. And then that full screw that we had, I'm just going to put it back in place. Now that that's tight, I can go back over to the half screw, and then we will turn that so that it covers the case on the opposite side. And now the case is, the movement is recased. Then you can just take your bezel and put that back into the correct position. And in this case, we have that square notch that goes over the clip right here. So if you're seeing it right there. And I will typically put that in place first and then just gently squeeze the bezel, not the glass, just the bezel, until we get the bezel snapped back onto the watch case. Close that up, and then we can push in the crown, and the front cover opens up, and our watch is cased and back together again. So that's the first type, a very easy type. The second type of hunter case pocket watch you may come across like this particular one, which is a lever set. And this particular watch has a little screw on the case tube of the pocket watch case. And that particular screw will allow you to, if you loosen it a little bit, to pull the entire crown and stem out of the watch. Now that's important in this case because, for instance, again, here's the inside of the watch. You can see we have a case screw here and a case screw here. They're both half screws, which makes it even easier. So again, we're going to pop open the front cover. We are going to remove the bezel with the crystal on it, just very gently pry. And once you get it a little loose, it'll come right off. Put that aside so you don't break it. Again, I would typically remove the hands at this point so that I'm working with just the watch. This watch does need some service. I will get to it eventually. Then we're going to open up the back. I will loosen or turn the half screws again so that they separate themselves from the case. So as you can see, the flat side of the screw is along the case. And we will again do that with this particular screw, which this one is a full screw, so I will remove that one and just completely remove it. Grab it with my tweezers, and there's the screw. Put that aside. So now that's done, and now this is the point at which I would come over to this little screw here and turn this maybe 2 times just so it's loose like so, and that should allow me to pull the entire stem out of the watch. And at that point, if I open up the front, which I can't do with this, I have to put my crown back in, push open on that. Now that it's open, I can take my stem out and the watch movement will come completely out of the watch. and is ready for you to service. So that, my friends, is how you decase and recase hunting case pocket watches. I hope this video helped. If it did help, consider giving it a thumbs up, because thumbs ups help my channel grow. And if you're not a subscriber and would like to keep seeing more videos like this, please consider subscribing. That also helps the algorithm to help my channel grow, and I appreciate all the support that you guys give me. Thanks, and happy watchmaking.